All right, looks like I have that here, James. And we'll talk about it in our proposals section of this one.
Understood. I'll wait to be called upon, sir.
Gotcha. Thank you. All right. Well, it looks like we're here. I don't have my participants list up. Let me get all set up for doing roll call.
Yeah, I'm doing my meeting from home, the fire tag meeting.
So it looks like our chair is not here,
yet.
but our alternate chair is here. Roger, would you mind maybe stepping up and introducing the meeting for us real quick, and then I'll do a roll call?
Sure.
Looks like Dan Young's here.
I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got the building code stuck in my head.
It's all right. For you, Dan, covering for you.
Go for it, Dan.
I was reaching for the unmute button, but as everybody knows, I went out for knee surgery and I've been back 2 days, so I'm
Yes.
still trying to figure out how to run a computer. So please bear with me. I'm catching up on emails and all that kind of stuff. But
Okay, one moment here. I may have some quick pivot stuff to do real quick.
Hey Dustin, is this just the fire code tech?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is Hoyt. I'm gonna jump off because I have another meeting with SCAW. So
10-4. To get to there. Looks like I have goofed here. Okay, now I'm about ready for roll call. I got to download this spreadsheet, which I thought I had downloaded and open. All right, here we go. Sorry. So Dan Young, you are our chair today. And if you could just give us a quick couple sentences, welcome us to the September 10th IFC tag meeting, and then I will commence roll call, and then we'll move through the agenda after that.
all right, well, thank you. Welcome for our tag meeting here. You already kind of did everything there, Dustin. So.
Yep. All right. All right.
Makes it easy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Dan. I'll lead off with a roll call. So our chair primary, Dan Young.
Here.
Chair alternate, Roger Haringa.
I am here.
Thank you. Let me make sure I get my participants list up so I can see if we're just having mute problems. For the architect primary, Ning Wang. I'm not seeing her in the attendees list. And then for the alternate, Jacob Liddycoat.
Here.
Thank you. And then for building official primary, Quinn Tai.
Here.
Thank you. For the alternate, Ray Shipman. Not seeing him in the attendees list today. For the fire official, fire marshal primary, Ken Brulette.
Here.
Thank you. For the cities and counties primary, Hugo Sotelo.
Present.
Thank you. For home builders, affordable housing developers primary, Mike Nykram. Not seeing him in the attendees list. For the general contractor developer primary, Bill Mybush. Not seeing him online. For manufacturer slash supplier primary, Ricky Campbell.
Present.
Thank you. For the fire protection engineer primary, Walker Danucci.
Present.
For the alternate, Dave Cocott.
Present.
For fire sprinkler industry primary, Sean Morgan.
Here.
Thank you. For the alternate, Kevin Marr. Not seeing him in the room. For the general public SME primary, Samir Mokashi. Not seeing in the room here today. For the alternate, Seth Henderson.
Here.
Thank you. For the fire alarm industry primary, David Mao.
Here.
For the alternate, Zachary Tuck.
Present.
Thank you, guys. And for the fire chief primary, Lance Dahl.
Here.
All right. We have a quorum of 11 out of our 15 seats. And we're good to go. So, Dan, would you mind leading us into agenda item number 2?
Okay, so review and approve agenda that was sent out. Is there any questions or comments on those?
Let me share the agenda here real quick. I think we have it up on screen, do we? I don't know. There we go. Looks like, Ken, you have your hand up?
You had it up on screen.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't realize I was looking at all kinds of different windows open on top of it and just trying to run through it.
So I'm just seeing your background right now.
Oh, okay. Then that's my bad. There we go. We should be seeing the agenda now.
Was there going to be minutes from the previous meeting, or those just didn't get done?
We didn't get them done last week. no,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have them on the next week's agenda for both
And-
this week and next week. Or previous
And then
week.
I know that Jamie's here, but the documents weren't provided for what he's going to present today.
Correct.
So so that won't be in that meeting document. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
that's
I'll-
why you have no tag action. So that's fine. I see that. So that works out. But I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented then.
This is Walker, I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Sounds like we're good to go there.
All right, that brings us to number 3. Dan, you want to lead us into that one?
So do we have any members of the public here?
Well, so if we have items, so members of the public,
Oh.
I guess we typically will welcome them at number 1.
Yeah,
And then
okay,
for
right.
item number 3 is items not on the agenda.
So do we have any items that are not on the agenda?
Well, for public comment on those items.
So doesn't look like we have anything then.
Okay, so no hands, no voices. It looks like we're ready for agenda item number 4.
So review proposals accepted by staff. Okay.
All righty. So this one I want to lead off with Jamie's proposal documents that we have here. I didn't get these into the documents last night, and so we have these here. So Jamie, this is intended to be a proposal for change to the building code. It sounded like you're muted, or it doesn't show you're muted, but I can't hear you.
Sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
So my one issue with what we have going on here is I don't have the form that we're supposed to have these provided on for building council proposals on a code change. So that doesn't mean we can't use what we have here. I just need a little bit of a form from you on that. And but if you'd like to speak on this proposal and what we're talking, this is the NIFED NICET certifications topic we've had previously here. Do you want to speak on the content of what you're intending on the proposal?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Can you share what he sent you though and show it on the screen?
I thought I have that. So if okay, I apologize. My screen share stopped.
I can share it if you'd like as well.
That might be best. Do you have the share button there? That way you can drive the document.
I do. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and share that one.
should have a Fire Equipment Manufacturers Association letter up on the screen.
Mhm.
Okay. So first, thank you very much, everyone, for your audience. I appreciate how this committee and the State Building Code Council has dealt with this issue. Everybody has been fantastic to work with, and I appreciate the heck out of that. So thank you very much for the audience. The last we spoke about this, we went through the State Building Code Council and passed an extension on the 2021 Fire Code through the end of the year. And that extension provided us some time where we had intended to negotiate a work requirement for this exception. And when I talk about the exception, I'll come down for context and show that our original proposal was either to add exception number 2, as it shows on the screen, or get an extension to the end of the year. And we voted to get an extension to the end of the year. And the reason for that was because we were going to negotiate a work requirement to go along with exception number 2 before we added it in. And so I'm here to negotiate that work requirement as intended, to keep my word and do that. In the meantime, I've had some discussions with some of you about this, and we discovered that there really is no place, and I'm happy to be corrected on this, by the way, but it doesn't seem that there's any place for the state of Washington to collect and then approve work or experience requirements prior to somebody taking the ICC NAFED test. Nor does NAFED or ICC have the avenue to do that. And because of that, the only way to go forward with that work requirement or someplace to receive it would be to do it a bill through the legislature, which I don't believe can happen between now and the end of the year. So because of that, right, FEMA and Amerex and the Washington Fire Protection Association are proposing that we move forward with our original proposal, which is adding exception number 2 to the fire code, right? And this exception number 2 would match the first exception. The difference being that it would be this exception for the ICC NAFED certification would be used for pre-engineered industrial suppression systems, as well as pre-engineered kitchen suppression systems. The ICC NAFED certification for industrial dry chem systems is the only certification targeted to this discipline. The NICET level 2, right, in special hazards, although an amazing certification, is about engineered type systems, and it doesn't ask any content or questions in our tests about pre-engineered dry chemical. So because there's no place to receive the work requirement, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but because of that, we're asking to add exception number 2 to the fire code, and that's the form that Dustin was talking about, and I'll get that to him probably in the morning. Having said that, that's our request, is to add exception number 2 to the fire code, allowing the ICC NAFED certification to be used not only for kitchens, but for industrial dry chem systems. These are the same technicians that do both work. The systems are virtually the same when it comes to the detection and control half of those systems. So we respectfully ask that we could add this to the fire code, this exception. So.
All right, are there any questions or comments for James? All right, looks like we don't have any questions for you, James. So maybe when this meeting concludes, James, would you have a moment for me to meet, and we'll talk about making sure that proposal, we get all the documents we need for that?
Yes, would you like to do that at 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock works for me.
All right, 4 o'clock it is. I will be happy to have that discussion with you. And what I'll do in the meantime is I'll get the one we proposed back in the spring, and I'll start mimicking that to make sure that we're getting it done correctly.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate everyone, and have a great day.
All right, just before I keep on plowing through, assuming my screen share is good, does everybody see the agenda on screen again?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So now we should be seeing the document that I made available on our website for this meeting. This is been synthesized with all the proposals we've been receiving for group 1 so far. And I would like to get this one not mounted, but posted to our 2024 rulemaking page so that folks, if they're looking for the information, it'll come out there real quick. Where I intend to post these individual sheets is within the specific accordion file on that rulemaking page. Let me pop it up real quick and I will show you guys where I'm speaking on. So this is our homepage landing. I'm looking to put it here on this 2024 code adoption cycle page. And for instance, for the fire code, you'd click the accordion drop down here, and we will have it down here in this IFC code change proposals. And I'll keep the updated date accurate there as we continue to receive more proposals for this group. And similarly, they'll be included in the other sections as well for code change proposals as individuals for that code. If we're looking for the code change proposal forms that we have them here at the top right of this page as well. So if we're directing folks where to get those forms, that's our most readily available link there. So back to the code change proposals. We don't have a whole lot more as compared to our last meeting. Looks like we've got about 6 more in here. So I have one from Dave Cocott on bulk storage of tires for IFC 1103.5.7. And in here, I didn't expect it to open up like that, but it did. So we have the proposed code amendment. Looks like we're adding a whole new section in there. And on a lot of these, there's not a whole lot more documentation coming in besides what we got. Dave did use the life cycle cost tool that we spoke on last meeting. And this is kind of what the input looks like. Let me see if I can get this open up a little bit bigger for you guys. That's not what I want. Okay, 1 second here. We're gonna run back to there. Get to gonna go right there. And so in here is still not super huge. This is Dave, I guess while I'm going through this, make sure I'm presenting appropriately to the people. This is where you do all the inputs within this tool, correct?
Correct. It's set up as a area square footage number, or you can just enter in the construction cost, initial cost. You can also add design cost or any other cost associated with it. The discount rate is basically the current discount rate that's in place now. I did some research off of that. Plus you just enter in your operation, maintenance, or lifespan. I haven't edited this part of it, but this came from another spreadsheet that did a base and an alternate. So we're just using the base for it. But what it would do is analyze the system or the cycle over the 25-year lifespan, the total cost.
Gotcha. And so once you input everything here in this section, you click the button, excuse me, click the button.
And you won't have to do that with the updated one I think I sent to you is I eliminated that because it automatically updates anyways. So
Okay,
I
awesome.
took that out.
And so then it starts populating our discount in factors in the calendar years and base rates.
And it does more than the years that you have. It's just set up for a maximum of 50. So that I just left it as it is. You'll see the breakdown of the 25-year span in another sheet of this.
There's a worth equivalent uniform annual cost. Looks like maybe cutting some of that off there. Got a nice little graph in here.
And that's the 25-year breakdown of total cost of the base cost associated with that. And the version I sent to Dustin, I cleaned it up just a little bit. So
Okay.
for instance, the chart doesn't indicate the x-axis, the y-axis. That I've corrected that. So
Okay. Awesome. Well, I think that this is looking all good here, and I will make this tool available to folks if they want to use it. And I really appreciate Dave putting some effort into sussing that one out for us. So we have the 24 GP1 039 is the one we just looked at. We have GP 1-40. This is also from Dave on sections 202 and 4004 for separate systems and bulk beverage storage areas. I got some hands up. I got Ricky first.
Yes, didn't make the meeting last week. I was tied up in, our apprenticeship program. I question as far as the cost, tool, analysis tool, if there's a decrease in, the proposal, are you requiring us to run that tool, or is that, can we omit that tool with a decrease of construction cost?
Well, I haven't had the question posed to me just yet, but I would maybe yield to folks who have been in the working on the code proposals longer than I have here, and maybe Dave or Ken might have an input. Have we in the past solicited the economic impact on proposals that decrease the cost of our construction?
I don't,
David?
I don't necessarily, I can see we could put a negative number in here and just run the cycle that way. So if because I'm not sure what the council would gain by seeing a negative number for the life cycle cost if we're looking at what it's going to cost more in the future. So
Yeah.
savings, I think it can be done either way. I don't necessarily think it has to be required, but the council may want to see it just to say, okay, hey, yeah, we saved 25,000 the first year, and then over the years we're going to save 46,000. Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
it-
it's
not
I think
necessarily
it's up to the
requirement, but-
council.
Not necessarily a requirement, but it could be a benefit to have the information there as far as weighting how the proposals taken as far as consideration. All
Okay.
right. Ken,
Hey, Dave, I didn't know, did you look at the F-104-24 and F-105-24? They use some terminology for the 27 code using the word aggregate volume of stored.
Are you talking
Tires.
about the other proposal? Next one?
Yeah, I didn't know if
Okay.
you were thinking about using any of that language.
Well, I when we get into the proposal there, what I did was I tried to find it in any other definition, and I found a federal definition for the bulk. And I think
Okay.
it's in my description where that came from, because I saw you had a proposal for the same general section last time, but and we can have to come to that one.
I guess
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is just, you know how you can store tires in different locations in the
tires.
building
Mhm.
and using the word aggregate. So it's I would, it wouldn't be definitely
Yeah.
definitely
All
just
I did,
one
all I
area of the
did for the
building.
tire one was I just took the new code language and put it into chapter 11.
Okay,
So basically it was a consistency between those two sections, so.
got it. Okay.
Yeah, but for distilled spirits, what I did was try to find, the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau, basically the Department of Treasury has definitions for both distilled spirits and distilled spirits. So what we don't have in our codes is we don't have anything. It just basically, all of a sudden it shows up, oh, you have to have distilled spirits. And if they have both distilled spirits or both beverage storage areas, well, what is that? And so this is my proposal, is to say that we can at least provide some boundaries and what some requirements are for it, based off of a national definition.
righty. Moving on, the next one we have from Ken Brulette on several sections in section 320 for storage requirements of limited indoor storage in containers, used or unwanted battery collection, waste storage, miscellaneous storage, fire protection systems. So looking on that one here, we have quite a bit of proposed language in here. Ken, do you have anything that you would like the group to be cognizant of in the drafting of this particular proposal?
Yes. So this is something that's been worked on nationally through some work groups for the Fire Code Action Committee. And this is the language that has been proposed for the 2027 code. And either has been already gone through the first committee and been accepted, or there's going to be some minor tweaks to it. So I just wanted to get it in for our review while we're coming up on the second review for the 27 code. But this is there's two things that we've been doing in Washington State. One is energy storage systems, and the other is lithium batteries, that we're trying to stay with the most current code that's available. And that means that we're reaching out to the 27 code like we did before, reaching out to the 24 code and getting it into our Washington State fire code. So that's the reasoning for this is, and we can get into details with it when we're actually reviewing it. But that's the goal, is again for those two big subjects, to get as current information as possible and bring it forward into our Washington State code. So what's nice about this is most of this has been vetted through other departments throughout the United States, and also industry has already looked at this and is in agreement with it, and they support it. So a lot of the legwork's been done for us.
Awesome. All right, we'll move on to the next one, which is GP 1-042 for similar sections, also by Ken.
Hey, Dustin, real quickly.
Yes, Quinn?
Just want to add on to what Ken was saying. I submitted 1207 yesterday, so it's going to tie in probably with what Ken just said about the ESS storage stuff. So just FYI.
So
Okay.
so does that mean that I don't have to put in my 1207 because you're going with their referencing of NFPA 855, that proposal?
Yeah, I'm just going back with the model, whatever the model is. That's
Oh,
my,
you went back with the model code. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll come forward with the
okay. Either way
the
works.
27 code. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Awesome. So this one's also on section 320. Did you pretty much, is everything you were saying in the last
Same
one kind of
thing.
cover this
Yeah,
one?
this is just coming out of the same work groups that have been presented already. And yeah, it's the same type of deal. We're just trying to bring forward the 27 stuff into our 24 code.
All righty. And then let's see, 042, we're on to 044, which comes from Ken as well on section 1107 for lithium ion technology, energy storage systems, early detection, corrective action plan. Is this a similar?
So yeah, this is similar to, they took it that it was in chapter 11 in the 24 code, but people felt that it needs to be back in chapter 12. So that's the reason they're seeing the striking and just renumbering back into chapter 12. So this was a pretty easy one. It was just a renumbering and reorganization.
Yeah.
But I realized that COCOT's got one more submittal than I do right now, so I'm going to have to submit something else. I gotta have more than he does.
Well, you had 99 last time and only had one.
Yeah, well, I'll see what I can do. And this next one is more getting the talking point going. I know that this has been going on nationally, regionally, state of Washington. Everybody's looking for electrical vehicle charging stations at disconnecting means. NFP 70 is going through their second review right now, I think, of the changes. And so there is disconnect requirements that have been proposed for NFPA 70. They're pretty clear cut. And by the time this gets published, those should be acceptable. So when we do talk about this, I'll be able to share what the draft is of that and show that. I didn't add the language into here. I just wanted to be a pointer over to NFP 70. In Seattle's electrical code just recently, which they're reviewing right now at City Council, we have put in some disconnecting means that are similar to what's in NFPA 70, which is being proposed. So I originally wanted to, my personal feeling was I wanted to keep everything in the electrical code and let the electrical inspector handle it. But then just understood that we say a lot in the fire code for something to be installed in accordance with NFPA 70. And this is just another one of those items where the fire officials say, hey, you have to have a disconnecting means, but then it points to NFPA 70 on how to do it. and this again opens up the discussion that people might want to add to this. They might want to be more descriptive than what NFPA 70 is going to say. And that's part of the tag process is we'll bring in some people to discuss if we want to add to this section. But again, just wanted to meet the deadline of getting something submitted so we can talk about it in the future.
And I had a quick question on this topic. I thought I read somewhere that the manufacturers of the charging equipment are kind of not wanting this type of device to be installed. Do you have any reasoning why they wouldn't want that? Is it messing up their chargers or something?
I haven't heard that. What I've heard is at the 2027 fire code hearings, the manufacturer's like, why are you putting it in the fire code? It's already in the electrical code. And so that's what I'm hearing is that they don't think it needs to go into the fire code. They just want to keep it in the electrical code. That's the feedback I'm hearing. I'm not, so
Okay.
maybe I'm
Maybe I
not in
misunderstood
the
something
right
I read
meeting then.
somewhere. All right. I believe that takes us to the end of what we have accepted and reviewed by staff as of yesterday. And does anybody have any of these that they would like to go back and look at that we reviewed last week by chance? James.
I just wanted to say simply, I finished the code change form, right? It's in your inbox. If you want to discuss it on this meeting, I'm able to do so. If you want to do it next week, I'm able to do so. It's your call, sir.
Let's plan on pushing it to next week, and that way I can review it and then just make sure I don't have anything else I need from you before we bring it into this group.
Understood. It's in your inbox.
Thank you. Quinn.
Not a question per se on any of those, but kind of what Ken was saying earlier, it kind of triggered something in my mind. He was going off with the 2027, but the 2027 still hasn't been published. They're still working through it. I mean, there's committee action hearing number 2 under the fire code. And I know at the hearings, they always bring up, like, we want to adopt this code language per the standard, which hasn't been adopted yet. And so that's always been frowned upon. I know that at the state level, we have more control over what we want to adopt and not adopt. I mean, is that good practice at our level to pre-adopt something that really hasn't been published yet? Does that make sense?
Well,
I think
yeah,
that kind of.
I'll
Go
take
ahead,
that. I'll take that a little bit. So I understand what you're saying, but our problem is our timing is we got caught in a tough position this time. So we have the SBCC put together this time frame of us having to review these code changes prior to the hearings being completed. So it's putting us in a tough situation to do what we've done in the past, which is take that future code and bring it forward for particular items. And so we're going to get through the second committee hearing, and then we're going to be doing our state stuff that's going to be going in through the beginning of the year. So that's what we have our public comment for at the very end, is if we feel confident enough to go forward with the proposals that are going forward to 27, or if we need to pull back and just say, nope, it's not published yet in the 27 code. But if we feel comfortable enough that it's going in that direction, I don't see the reason for us not to go ahead and put it in our 24 code. Just because it hasn't been published yet doesn't mean it's not going to be published. And the only other way to think about this is the final vote might not have occurred, but based on what we're hearing and what we're understanding and our comfort with it, we would support it still going forward. So it's a timing issue. It's messed up this time around, and we're doing the best that we can with the time frame, the crunch that we have. I mean, I wish that we could have pushed our Washington codes back a few months, so then we weren't put in this situation. But that was something that the Building Code Council didn't want to do.
Yeah, I personally, I don't have any issues with it. It was just more of a procedural, what have we done in the past and stuff.
I think, like, if you look at UL standards, when it says the outline investigation document, which isn't actually the standard yet, yeah, I would have to agree with that. That would be something that I wouldn't necessarily want to push until the full UL standard came through. because there's always a lot of sometimes tweaks between the outline investigation and the UL standard. But I think we're relatively safe in this, especially when they when they go the first time around as submitted, and then there's no public comments or committee comments going on for the second round. So there's a good chance that it's just going to go through and get voted on. So, and those are the ones that I'm trying to catch the low hanging fruit. The one proposal that I'm not going to bite on is the complete new edition of a chapter 42 for batteries, which is basically taking everything in anything that's battery related and put it into this new chapter 42. I'm not ready to do that because to me that is it's just a relocation of everything. It's not necessarily a new requirements thing. It's just a coordination effort that they're doing for the 27 code. And I don't think that's necessary in Washington because we wouldn't be changing any requirements. We're just organizing them different. So that's all I got.
Dave.
Yeah, I wanted to pass on, I don't know why I was thinking about Kim when you were talking about your disconnects. Actually, I had a conversation with the Energy Resilience and Emergency Management Director at Commerce, and they were being pressured to have a bill submitted to address the electrical vehicle charging disconnects. So I assisted them in drafting the language for it, which basically directs the fire code tag to come up with language for the disconnects. So well, I think we're doing well.
Yeah, and that's funny, Dave, because that was one of the reasons that I decided to put this in, because basically the tag is getting in front of that.
Yep.
So maybe
And
that doesn't have to go through
that was probably going to be the case, but either way, it'll look good if the Building Code Council addresses it before legislation requirements. So we're responsive to them. So it was pretty simple language, but yeah, that's an interesting. It's coming from two different directions, but that works.
Awesome. Anything else on the current proposals that we're looking for? And if not, I'll move on to our tag work of which proposals we're still looking for. I don't have a super straightforward document to share, but I have the one that we were working at our the last meeting in September, where I have some names alongside the code sections there. If anybody needs updates on what they were volunteering to do.
I think it'd be great if you share it, because if there's somebody that's not here today and there's still something that needs to get done, then somebody needs to step up and try to get it done so we don't not meet the deadline.
Gotcha.
Agreed,
So-
and I could definitely use a refresh on the ones that you have me down for, Dustin.
So for large in part, most of the proposals that we were looking for from this tag were coming for, if there's a section that we had identified in the report, the folks responsible for doing that initial review of the report volunteered for the work on the proposal. So looking here, we've gone through and anything with a green box, we're not looking for a proposal for. So chapter 1, chapter 2, and this is the existing amendments report. I'll go over the significant changes one as well. We have some more notes there. I have in chapter 3, I asked for some help on that one. So Dave, you have the recreational fires one, 307.4.2.
That was submitted.
Okay. And then I have this one here, which I haven't had a chance to work on, 319.1.
So Dustin, do you need help with that one?
I would like to keep my name by it, but if I could get a volunteer, it's one less thing that I got going in the fire at the moment.
Okay, so
yeah, well, help would be greatly appreciated. I want to keep it, but I shouldn't realize I got too much going on at the moment.
okay, so 319. Okay, 19.1 and the 4106.1. Got it. Okay, you can make it say Dustin Ken then.
Okay.
Any way I can beat Dave on submittal numbers. That's what I'm trying.
Okay. And then I have Dave on this one, 321.3. Is this one already submitted as well?
No, this one we had emailed earlier today that we're not gonna do a proposal on it. We're gonna just go ahead and
Okay.
let it go and see if industry wants to drive it.
Gotcha. Then we will hit that one. Remove a name. Cancel. Whatever I did. All right, prohibited locations, 321.1. I guess I could open up the look at these side by side with what we've
Same
got
thing with
going.
that one. We agreed with that one. We didn't need to have a proposal.
Saying is it's what about 323.2?
Same. And with board also.
And we said everything in chapter 4 we're gonna let industry drive.
Chapter, yeah, so chapter 3, I did do proposals for 403.11 and 406.1.
Okay, and I got for Ricky Campbell, looking for section 510.3. And I think this is due to the significant change in there. Walker, I had you on 907.2.3.
Okay, yep, tracking that one.
I had you on 915.1.1 and 915.2.1.
Okay, yeah, I have those and I believe that could that all be done on one proposal form?
It could
Since
be,
they are pretty
yes.
related, okay.
And then we have the single exits. We have a ad hoc tag group needed for this one. And I have a proposal. I think it's for both just the IBC from City of Seattle on this one. I need to go back and just double check that one a little bit more. Roger?
Yeah, Dustin, I did want to mention, I forwarded you a webinar that I got that was from a group in Canada that explains their single exit.
I did
And
see that. I haven't had a chance to go through it yet, though. Here we go. Jimbo
I
said-
just thought if there is a group, or actually anybody on the IFC or IBC tag that is interested in learning more, I am planning on attending just so I understand it better. And so if you could, I guess I would just ask you to maybe forward that on to the tag members and just as an informational.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
So
Okay. Got that one. So when we get wrapped up here, Roger, I'll forward that out to everybody.
And then Dustin, on that single exit, Wobble has a work group, then they should be sending one out to you as well.
Okay.
And I'll just tag on, there's actually an NFPA symposium on single exit stair happening today and tomorrow. And then following that, there'll be a published report that will be created by NFPA also. So they'll just give us some more things to look at.
Okay. I have Quinn and Ken on section 1207. I do have that in my inbox. It's not on the spreadsheet yet. Quinn, I have you for inflatable amusement devices, section 3106.
Oh yeah, I need to do that one. I'll get that one done to you by the end of the week.
Okay. And then I have, I don't know how you're gonna get ahead of them if you're working with them, Ken, but I have you and Dave, for 5704.211 or .2.11.
Yeah, he actually let me do them, so he gave me some of the scores here, so.
Oh,
So that each, the three one 5704, 5706, and 5707 are done.
yep, I see those here on our spreadsheet. One. Okay. And that looks like it for that one. Let me open up the existing or the significant changes report. I will. All right, significant changes report. Let me pop up to the top. So 104.2.3, I've got Dave Cocott. And I see that in our spreadsheet.
It's
We
in.
got what now?
That one's in.
Yep. And then I have Ken Brulette for 105.5.56. And I see that in the spreadsheet. For chapter 5, I've got Ricky Campbell on 503.1 through 503.4.1.
Copy that.
Section 510. And that wraps up chapter 5. And I guess after we finish this up, I would just similarly, like I'm struggling getting all my stuff done. If anybody's needing help, let's make the call and see if we can distribute some of this stuff out if we need it. Walker, I have you on 915.1.1. I believe that was also in our existing amendments report.
Yes, yep, tracking that, okay.
Quinn for section 1207, we already covered that one. We covered 3106. For chapter 39, Hugo, I have you for 3901.1 and 3905.3.
Yeah, the 3901.1, I was actually going to email you. I can actually remove that. By definition, greenhouses wouldn't even be permitted to do what's identified as far as the solvent-based extraction. I was doing
Okay.
some homework on that, and I was like, I found it odd that it was noted. So, but looking further, it wouldn't even be allowed. So,
Okay, well, I'll just mark it down now as we don't need a proposal there. And what I'll do after this meeting before our next one is I'll get a more condensed list and make it available for what we're looking for, similar to our chapter assignments when we started this process. Chapter 40, I have Ken Brulette and Kevin Marr on section 4004.4. And I have that in here actually from Dave Cocott on that section. Are we still looking for another one from Ken and Kevin?
I think Ken already had one we discussed last week, didn't we?
I thought it's on the list.
Yeah, do you remember you talking about last week? So We should have two on
Oh,
it.
I see it
generally.
there. I see it. I missed it. My bad. So we have two addressing that section. Hugo, I have you down again for chapter 41, section 4101.1.
Yep, copy that.
And looks like we'll just call that a proposal for section 4101.1. We have lots of sections in there. This one, we don't need anything on that. 41, and then I have you for section 4104.4, cooking operations, and then 4105.1.2, power supply, 4106.4.2 for fire protection systems and devices, 4106.4.3.1, LP gas systems, and 4106.4.3.3, 4106.6, and 4106.7. And they're all with your name on them, Hugo. Are you having any issues getting those done? Do you need any help?
Yeah, I should be able to get those done. I've actually done some legwork on that annual leakage test. I might redact that one too.
Okay. And then I have compressed gases in chapter 53, section 5306.5 for Kevin and Ken. And 5306.5, I have that one in here. And then I have a chapter 80 reference standards, which I see in here as well. And so that is where we're at on the proposals that we were looking to get from TAG members. And I guess I'll go back to the question: is everybody feeling comfortable with what they got on their plates? And anybody else need help besides me?
When is all that due? The 19th?
The 19th, yes.
So I do have I guess, a question for you, Dustin. So in chapter 6, we have a whack right now. I gotta pull it up. I'm trying to click on your Chrome and not my Chrome. So in section 0605, under quantity limits, we added in UL 142A in our state amendments. In the 24 code printing, they missed it. It got approved. So we brought it in early from the 24 code, we brought it into the 21 code. And so that's the reason we put it in let me back up to the 18 code. Is that correct? Yeah. Anyways, it's an errata. It's going to be an errata, and it will be correct in the next printing. Do we need to have a code change to get rid of the 605.4.2.2?
To take the whole state, the only amendment that we have in there is the UL 142A.
Yeah.
And the rest of that is model code language in there.
Yep.
I would say no if we need to take that out. So if we're using these amendments as part of the and people are using the first printing by chance, it might be, do you see it being a benefit leaving that in there as an amendment, and then as we go through the next code cycle, cleaning that part up?
I don't know. I think it's best to remove it, because if it goes to if ICC looks at it, they're going to see that it's fixed, but we're submitting to them that it's a Washington State amendment and it's not. So how are they going to show it?
Well, I guess if they, in our drafting of what we got going on, by the time we're at the publication period, they should have the second printing out there. And, if it's in our WAC, I'm not sure how they would show it if we, so if it's model code language, it would be my intent to show it as model code language when we submit the final drafting for the Washington custom code. But if someone's out there working with the model codes and using the WAC to look in there, and they happen to have their hands on the first printing, I think keeping the 142A would be beneficial in that instance.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just keep it in then and just work on it next code cycle then.
Okay. All right, so that's all I have for the proposal development by the tag. Is there anything else on proposal development that we should discuss before we get to item number 6? So I'm seeing no hands and hearing nobody, so I will yield the floor back to Dan Young.
All right, I guess with nothing else, we can go ahead and adjourn the meeting.
All righty. Well, I appreciate everybody's time here today and putting up with my blunders on the screen share. And I
All good.
look forward to seeing everybody next week. And I guess if anybody needs help on their proposals, please don't hesitate to reach out and we can facilitate getting everybody some help if they need it.
Glad you're feeling better, Dustin.
Oh, thank you, Roger. I feel so